Well, the history of the orchestra started 5 years ago now, and at the time I played violin in another orchestra. It was like a large symphonic-sized orchestra.
And he wrote a piece for the conductor, and the conductor said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't do original pieces." And that was kind of like a, as soon as he realized that, it's like, okay, well, I need to create my own group to where it doesn't matter if I write an original piece, because I don't have that viewpoint on, it can't, we only have to perform dead people's music.
In the very beginning, it was a big learning process, and it seems like the first 5 or so rehearsals, there was a completely different orchestra there every single rehearsal. Like, people would show up and then there'd be a different group the next week and a different group the next week. Aside from a handful of people, like 3 to 5 people, stuck around since the very first rehearsal.
And I think we've just sort of overall become a more refined, polished group. We've played a lot of different kinds of venues, and I think that's kind of a hallmark of what we are.
One thing that's always amazing is the quality of people that Ollie's able to bring together to do a show like this, and to do shows all around LA in unique places, so it's just, you never know what to expect.
Usually orchestras and classical organizations, can sometimes be a little stuffy or a little, a little snooty, have a little snooty air about them. But this was just really comfortable and very relaxed, and it was fun.
We're not just, in your symphony halls. We're in all these different really great locations and very intimate settings, which is definitely not what most people are doing.
There's very little separation between the audience and the orchestra, so we've played places where we've literally had people sitting at our feet to make space, so you don't have that traditional separation where you have the orchestra on stage and the people in the audience separated, which makes it a much different experience. It's like people are actually sitting in the orchestra while you're playing.
I tend to feel more connected with them because usually, in my section there's typically been about 2 or 3 cellos, and when you've got people standing right next to you, like, they can hear exactly what you're playing. Playing in larger orchestras, you kind of like get mixed in the cello section, which 10, 15 cellos, and then you've got the bass players. But here, it's like each one of us stand out.
Everyone is here because they just enjoy playing music. Everyone wants to play, and they want to play with a group.
When you're making music with people, it's important that you make music with the right people. It's not even just a matter of if you're a talented musician or not. You have to get along with the people that you're making music with, And that's kind of a lot of the fun behind an orchestra, is that you are working with people, and it's a collaborative thing, and every rehearsal is different, and every concert is different.
At first it seemed a little bit like a good pickup orchestra, but it's become clear over the years that the orchestra is going to endure, going to keep rehearsing and keep performing.
I'm very grateful that I met Ollie at the time that he started this, and I'm really grateful that he's a friend of mine, and that he flows power and helps other artists. He's not that type of person that only wants something for himself, and that's really refreshing, because it seems like that's kind of the all too often thing you find, and it's really cool to find someone that's like, he's all about, let's help everyone out, let's oh, you got a composition, let me hear it, so that's pretty awesome.
Usually I pick most of the pieces, but I'm always open to hearing what the orchestra is interested in.
We would do a lot of Baroque music. Ollie likes Baroque music, so we would do like Bach and Handel and Vivaldi and all these different Baroque composers. I would very much like it to be all original, but I kind of understand, because being in a band, people like to hear songs that they know versus everything original.
I just listen to a lot of classical music all the time, so I've always had these lists, and I've always written pieces down that I've wanted to do, and some of them just don't work out for a while until a certain point. Specifically, some of the pieces that we're doing in this concert, I've been wanting to do them for several years now. This sense, like this piece we're doing from St. Matthew's Passion, requires a solo soprano and a solo alto singer, and that can be hard to find sometimes, or get the right people for it that blend well together and that sing well together. I think that's the first show that I've had where I got both of them. In this concert, there's just certain things that are happening, certain ways that we have it set up. where it's more interactive with the audience in a sense. And so my idea is it's supposed to be an experience where an audience comes to it, whether or not they're into classical music necessarily, or they've gone to see orchestras, or that's what they like to do. It's supposed to be something where they go and they just walk away really having enjoyed the experience and having gone to something that they didn't expect to see and didn't expect to happen at this concert, with certain surprises and so on.
Ollie approached us, my sister and I, and asked us if we'd be interested in helping them dress for their 5-year anniversary. He mentioned Bowie, so we're gonna go off of that, but very subtle.
It's nice getting different people and introducing new people to classical music in different ways and so on.
And so that makes it kind of enjoyable too. It's a different sort of audience than we would usually have for a symphony performance.
I guess just like a rock show. Nowadays it's kind of like everything is about the show, right? The fire, the whatever. I mean, it's a little bit like a gimmick, but it gets people to go and see the show, and I guess that's what's needed for a person that doesn't necessarily maybe like classical music, but if they can just get that, if they come for the gimmick and then they realize they like the music, then they're kind of hooked, you know, from that point on.